Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarot, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now this week, it looks like it's going to be an extremely quiet week. That means there's not going to be any particularly pressing events, no collabs, no brand new models officially joining the scene that are must-haves, and I think as far as the community is concerned, it's going to be very openly welcome, since I am very strongly suspecting that things are going to be relatively quiet this week as they gear up for the game's 5.5-year anniversary, likely through the tail end of July. Now, as far as this week is concerned, though, it is still going to be fairly decent all the same, though, as we see the introduction of one brand new model, and even then, he's not exactly new either, since we have seen him a number of times already as an enemy-only NPC. But there are still lots of exciting things to expect this week, especially if you are a newcomer or rookie to the game specifically. This might just be the week for you to catch up and kind of build a little more of a rapport with your parts library and your medals on hand. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting with the gacha banners and who to expect in this week's lineup. Now, like I said, it is going to be a relatively quiet week with the introduction of only one brand new model, and I use that term very generously, and that is GEA-0 KATAKATA MAWARU, with a kit of Trap Up, Double Count Attack, Wield Legs, and the leg ability of Momentum. Now, previous to this, KATAKATA MAWARU actually had artillery as a leg ability up to a point, and was extremely niche given how strange counterattack was to use. But with this introduction, does introduce a handful of buffs and some minor changes to his kit as well, to make him just a little more imposing and more of a menace now that he's officially live as a model that can be obtained by players. That being said, Count Attack received 2 buffs this week as well that will be going live this week additionally. The first of which is they removed the no defend cooldown penalty. This basically means that it is notably safer to use than it is now, as while you're still not able to dodge incoming enemy attacks on cooldown, being able to still guard and reduce damage will keep it very solid and much safer, like I said, as far as overall survivability is concerned. Furthermore, they also removed the attack stack cap limit for counterattack, which means, theoretically, if this was indeed explained correctly to me, you can stack as many damage caps of counterattack as possible, as long as you just keep using the attack consecutively and repeatedly. But that is still yet to be determined until KATAKATA MAWARU does officially go live, and see how exactly that does perform once he does hit the field. Now, as far as the boosted rates are concerned with KATAKATA MAWARU, though, it is also going to be yet another quiet rate there as well, with the reintroduction of 2 meta change type models to showcase and complement behind him, kind of both complementing his kit in various forms. The first of which is CRH-0 Bad Hacker with Field Repair, Shoot Trap, Melee Trap, Biped Legs, and B-Loader. Now, Bad Hacker, who for those have been around for a while with Meta S or anything to do with Medarot's earlier titles, Bad Hacker also can meta change into a proper roach-like form, with a kit of Field Repair, Bug, Virus, Multi-Legs, and Carrier. Furthermore, alongside Bad Hacker, we also have CAB-0 Swallowtail, with Stealth, Heal Trap, Support Trap, Float Legs, and Holy Grace. Swallowtail also can meta change into a fully support-oriented form, with a kit of Heater, Cooler, Field Control, Float Legs are maintained, but she changes her leg ability to Charm. So while this one does not pack any kind of forward aggression whatsoever in any form or capacity, unless you count passive aggression with healing and support traps, Swallowtail is going to be very heavily support-oriented, so mostly just providing buffs on the side, whether she does stick around for the entirety of the fight, or if she does end up going down sooner than later. She does have several ways to kind of keep herself going and keep herself relatively quiet and without getting touched too many times. Now, as far as the Fierce Battles this week is concerned, it's going to be a very heavy utility-based week as well. This week, we see reruns for TIR-0 Attack Tyranno with Fire, Double Hammer, Biped Legs, and Straight, WEA-03 P2 Shisaku 2 with Charge Buster, Press, Power Rifle, Tank Legs, and Trap Buster, and SCP-0 Poison Scorpion with Triple Melt, Multi-Legs, and Desert Type. On this bottom row, we have LDB-03 Ptolemy with Scope, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and Gunman. DRF-03 CT King with Press, Anti-Air, Press, Flight Legs, and Bullet Rain. And CCD-0 Semi-Cicade with Melee Trap, Double Break, Flight Legs, and Nest. So ultimately, all 6 bots have at least 1 or 2 parts that can be put to extremely good use, whether you're early on in your row battling career or if you're a seasoned vet that's been around the block a few times. Just to explain a few examples of this, Attack Tyranno, thanks to the Silent Leader mechanic, does make it a lot easier for him to flush out enemy leaders with the AoE ability. Chisaku 2 basically is just budget power-oriented parts with Charge Buster and Power Rifle specifically. Poison Scorpion, DOTs really aren't all that viable, despite them basically getting quadruple DOT damage a number of patches ago. But the multi-legs that he offers with Desert type does give him a significant advantage where others may struggle, especially on desert or wasteland terrains where others will be struggling without having to use flight legs and possibly get sniped. Ptolemy is basically just your all-around user-friendly and beginner-friendly shooter type for female teams. CT King mostly for anti-air for coverage, and Flight Legs with Bullet Rain is nice for your high-speed and high-agility shooters, and Semi-Cicade mostly for Melee Trap and Nest as a nice combo to serve as a deterrent for any enemies that are trying to use melee attacks against you. And of course, you can also use Break for your heavy punish as needed. That being said, I do have to give MVP of the week to Semi-Cicade in this case, because he does pack the most utility, but it is still worth noting to go after all 6 of these, even if just to have the parts on hand more than anything else in the library. Now, as far as events are concerned this week, it is going to be a very busy event, though, despite the fact that it's going to be a very quiet week. But all of the events this week around are not going to be geared towards seasoned veterans that have been around the block a number of times. Instead, this event will be geared specifically and primarily towards newcomers and rookies that are just starting out. In this rerun event, we have the opportunity to earn, or in some cases re-earn if we miss them, the Hornet Medal, which has a mastery in melee, shooting, and healing, with leg masteries of Biped, Multi, and Flight. The Pawn Medal, which has melee, defense, and setup, with Multi, Flight, and C. The Hacker Medal, with shoot, support, and setup, and Biped, wield, and C. And the Gear Medal, with shooting, defense, and setup, with Biped, wheel, and float. Furthermore, we can also earn 4 additional previously event reward Medarot sets that we can use in team builds. Those in particular are GRW0 Riza with Trap Up, Trap Clear, Plant Trap, Biped Legs, and Continuous P. RAP01 Pi with Charge Plant, Double Sacrifice, Flight Legs, and Charge Shot. GRH0 Head Locust with Effect Clear, Charge Plant, Destroy, Flight Legs, and Rumbling. And CTP0 Centipede with Triple Press, Wheeled Legs, and Artillery. Alongside, of course, this month's usual event got Meta League PvP tickets as well. The event for this particular event will be boss fight, which means every once in a while you will encounter a boss fight proc upon completing the dungeon, where you can earn an extra tier of rewards relative to what you're bringing to the table. So ultimately, this is going to be a very heavy pure sets encouraged if you are planning to participate. And if you are a new player or a rookie that's just been starting out for a while, this is definitely going to be an event for you to focus on, because more often than not, having parts and medals on hand is better than not having them at all. And the more medals you have, the easier it is for you to build a lot of flexible setups without having to tie anything with a non-compatible part. Now, as far as Meta Survivor is concerned, though, it is going to be stepping up just a little bit with a couple of brand new faces. The first of which is Empress Patra from Medarot R will be joining Meta Survivor with a very wide array of passives and attack skills while she's on the field. One of her biggest charms is the fact that her particular attack, when fully evolved all the way, grants her the ability to attack using one of 4 different attack styles at random, much kind of a tying back to the whole shape-shifting ability that she had in the anime for those that are unaware or remember her. Additionally, we also have a brand new model that will be joining Meta Survivor as well, with a brand new guest artist, and that is Morgan Roof, with a high emphasis on crits, movement speed, and gunpowder plus damage. Now, Morgan Roof specifically was designed by Junya Ishigaki, who was very well known for the Xenogears series, in addition to several Gundam series. This includes Seed, USA, F91, and even even Wing and Endless Waltz to a point as well, or even Turn A. So very wide array and very high repertoire of mechanical designs that Mr. Junya has done. So very exciting to see this model officially grace Meta Survivor this coming week, and ultimately when it decides to drop in Medarot S all the same. Now, as far as community stuff is concerned, though, as always, we are continually looking for translators to assist us with any of our ongoing projects, such as with Medarot 4 or with any of the Medarot manga projects. So that being said, if you would like to assist, if you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning Japanese, or if you know somebody that is, feel free to ask around, reach out to me personally, or join our Discord in the link provided below and ask around. We are more than happy to get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what still needs done and what has been done. So very exciting news on that, as they're both still in fairly early stages, and the more help we have, the faster we can work on those. Furthermore, if you are not able to assist in any particular talent capacity, we are also open to donations with a Ko-Fi link in the description below for Variant, where you can donate to the cause, and we can commission some of those lines of text to be translated instead. So we are always open to any kind of help, whether that is donations, amount of time, or even just word of mouth. Anything that you can offer, we will always and forevermore appreciate from one fan to another. One final note before I do wrap us up here for this week's rather quick episode is, as a friendly reminder, I am always open for art commissions. So if you are looking for a live 2D model ready to rig, standard emotes, standard art, 3D models with the works, I would love to try to make something happen with you. So feel free to reach out to me on Discord, Twitter, or Blue Sky, whichever is your particular social media of choice, and we can most certainly try to make something happen. That being said, I will do just about anything with a fairly solid emphasis on mecha, as you see here, with a lot of stuff that I do. Obviously, anything NSFW or gore I won't, but I really don't think that's going to be too much of an issue with a lot of people. But with that being said, that does basically cover everything for this week's episode. So, like I said, fairly light week as far as stuff we can expect and what is incoming, aside from one previously enemy-only NPC officially becoming a pullable model for players to obtain. And I highly suspect that this will be the calm before the storm, before the 5.5-year anniversary that is likely to start tailing in on the tail end of July. But if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there that is nearly cresting 50,000 members and still growing by the day. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That is the first place you will hear the news before it goes anywhere else. Also, you can reach out to me personally, like I said, on Twitter, Discord, or Blue Sky at Isagamikura. So if you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, or if you'd like to reach out to me or even suggest a artist commission or collab, I would love to hear from you on any of those fronts. I leave my DMs open on purpose for that very reason. Lastly, do also give these dear friends of mine a follow as well. Mota Monkey, who does a lot of fantastic Medarot art on their Twitter feed and on their Pixiv as well. And I have seen a number of fantastic and extremely high detail arts that Mota does. Highly recommend seeing them and including them in your feeds. And I also want to give a shout out to my friend Iron Clark, who goes by Clark Designer on Twitter. And if you're on Blue Sky, at Iron Clark, who does a lot of very nice art as well, but instead focuses a lot of very heavily on an iron foundry or a forge that designs a lot of armor or weapons. When I last spoke with Iron Clark on my collaboration, he mentioned previously in passing that he is over 3,200 different, separate, completely independent, and unique pieces of armor or weapons that he had designed at one a day with a non-stop streak. So very impressive work, and if you're looking for any art, any weapon or armor designs, definitely feel free to give Iron Clark a follow and a shout as well. Tell him that your old pal Kura sent you their way and he'll know what to do. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.